Hey, welcome back. Look at this. Look how excited we all are. We've got some special guests in the house. I was going to say welcome back to another episode of It's a Football Thing, but as you can see, it's a very, very big football thing because we've got some special guests in the house, tag teaming tonight. One happy supporter, one not so happy supporter. Kat and Dani, why don't you introduce yourselves to our audience?
Well, Dani, I think you should go first.
Well, as a proud Man United supporter, as of this morning, no, I'm Dani, lover of football and, everything about the football community, big Manchester United supporter. And yeah, that's me.
Hello, I'm Kat. Unfortunately, I'm a Liverpool fan today, having to sit next to this one who's definitely rubbing it in a little. I am kicking off with Kat. I'm on the Born Offside podcast and I do a bunch of different football content. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Would love if you did that. But other than that, just here to chat.
Just here for a good time.
Here for a good time.
That's right. We're here for a good time and a long time. And speaking of having a good time, Scott, you must be having a very good time, my man. Gunners flying high on top of the Premier League ladder, the August Premier League champions. How are you, sir?
Taking it one game at a time, mate. I've had a lot of Liverpool fans in my class at school and Manchester United fans, and we had a MUFC day the other week, so obviously rocked up in my Arsenal kit. All of them, oh, you guys don't win, you're not very good. I just kept walking around saying, can't hear you from the top of the league, kids. I don't care if it's roasting 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds. This is football, mate, and it's a football thing. But, Kat, I've got to say, both of you, it was almost like feels like an AA kind of feel. There's a bit of sadness there, Kat. Come on, smile.
No, you're right. And this is the thing. I'll just say I'm a little dramatic, okay? It's week 3. I'm panicking like we've just, we may as well be relegated. That's not the case.
Excuse me, we're lower on the table.
At least just
we jumped in today. Dani. We're on top of him.
Yeah, it's very recent, still new to me,
Yeah, I know, you're just getting used to what it's like to win, and that's okay. We've all been there. But look, it is a little rough. I've been really copying it on my socials today. I think that's the problem with people knowing that you're a Liverpool supporter. Any opportunity to bring us down, they jump on it, let me tell you.
That's it.
Well, you know what? A lot can happen in a week of football. Last week, Rob was telling us that he has genuine fears of relegation. Then they beat the world-topping Liverpool. Chelsea were talking about a resurgence and all systems go and then get smashed against Leeds. Things happen very fast in the world of football. But in case you haven't seen, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Make sure you check out Kat and Dani's stuff. They do some great things with the I Want It Yesterday crew and obviously with Born Offside. But there's been some massive action in this week's Premier League, as we've touched on some of them. But Scott, why don't you welcome us with who's in the crowd tonight?
Yeah, just to quickly say hello to some of the folks before we get in. Tom from the United Pubcast, good evening. All the United fans are here. Tom's always here.
Come on, boys, come on.
We got Justin in the house. We got Emad, obviously talking about myself and Rob. I don't think it's you two. We got Borcha here from the football capital. George is here. No Maguire, no worries. There you go. Question for you, Kat, already. Can you ask Kat how she got on the next question?
No, we can answer. Look, like you said, I'm gonna stand my ground. It wasn't the best week, but it also wasn't the worst week. The problem was I think I had a little bit too much reliance on Liverpool, which makes sense. I had a very weak back line in the end. 0 points from Cancelo, Trent, Robbo. It was pretty bad. It was 50 points in the end, but I made no transfers. So at least in that sense, I'm not feeling regretful about any of those decisions.
Nah, all good.
Yeah.
We got declared here as well, just quickly. Geordie's here too. You're getting quoted, Kat. I'm going to stick up for you tonight because you always look after me. Quoting you from the last episode of Born Offside. Look, you know what? Let's get straight into the game. RJ, you and I are just going to kind of sit back for a little while. I've got a few questions for some of our United fans in the house a little bit later because the social media tone has changed. I was expecting an empty stadium, to be honest, this morning, but we'll talk about that. Let them enjoy it because you know what? It was a brilliant win for Manchester United. We know the relationship between the two clubs. We know the feeling amongst the fans. So it's no doubt that they're buzzing. Dani, I'm going to let you kick off first because you're the guest, and then we'll go over to Robbie. Just quickly tell us what impressed you from the match this morning, besides the obvious 3 points.
Well, I thought it was really refreshing to obviously have Maguire step out. Varane had an absolutely solid game, and Martinez at the back as well. Solid, love that. And I love to see Rashford do well. I just feel like, for so long, he's had a really bad run. And to see him get a goal this morning was awesome. Sancho on the score sheet, I think he's a big one to watch. He's a weapon for us up front. So that was really refreshing. And especially to get a win against Liverpool under the circumstances that we're currently in was amazing for us. So super happy this morning.
Robbie, talk to us.
Yeah, look, what can I say? Collars up tonight in a good mood, and an unexpected good mood, to be honest. Because look, I think this is a lot more than what we expected from the game. I was pretty much crossing this one off the 0-3. I was thinking, and I was going to say next week is the start of our season with our new Casemiro sign that's just come through the door. But mate, what a game, what a performance, and something that a win that I can actually be proud of. Because it wasn't an ugly win either. It wasn't like a bit of a smash and grab. We actually deserved to win, especially that first half. I do think we dominated the game for a chance in a rare occurrence. Second half, we did sit quite deep and let Liverpool come into the game. And, again, we absorbed a lot of pressure. And that's why I was so happy with our defense, who I really think done an excellent job. First-time partnership of Martinez and Varane. Varane, that's his best performance since he's been with the club. He was very injury-prone last year, in and out of the team. Martinez, to come back after being hooked at halftime last week, massive confidence booster, and he was man of the match. He got man of the match. And another shout-out for Terrell Malacia, a 22-year-old on debut today against Liverpool. And when you got Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold on your wing, he passed with flying colours today, honestly. And I just think, the teamwork, the team structure, and all the tactical plan worked today. I think we exposed Trent a lot. You have a look how many times, about 8 to 10 times, we got in behind him, or we beat him man for man. Alanga got past him, Rashford got past him. He just didn't look confident. After once or twice today, we kept going down his side. The link-up play was really good. The first goal, the little 1-2 touch with Alanga and Ericsson to obviously tee up Sancho. And look, it looked easy from there, but Sancho, cool, calm, and collected to slot that away, and a massive goal for us. Now we've actually got a goal to celebrate, or to actually put up in the award for the August goal of the month. And again, to go into the biggest thing for me was the defense today. The numerous blocks, the team camaraderie of every time we're making a block, fist pumping, high-fiving each other. That's something that you could actually see. Manchester was united today for a change. So look, again, second half came out.
Beautiful,
and
that was poetic. That's poetic.
Look, and again, came out second half, and Liverpool straight off the bat, off the kickoff, I thought they were going to nearly score. They really came out. Klopp must have given that halftime big chat. 10 minutes in, we got that second goal, which I think was a big boost for us, because 1-0 I was never confident. 2-0, to be honest, I wasn't confident. I was really waiting for them to come back, because we've seen it twice this season. They've come from behind to get a draw. When that last goal did go in, I was like, well, this is going to be a long 10 minutes. But look, credit to the team. Massive 3 points for the boys. And look, winning this year is already a plus, but to beat Liverpool at home is special. So, top day.
Let's just bounce over to Kat, and then we'll come to you after that, RJ. There's a couple of Liverpool players in particular that are in the live chat getting called out a little bit. Trent obviously being one, and Trent can be a bit of a divisive character in the sense that it can be rocks and diamonds, and there are aspects of the game that he's so good at, but there are still things for him to develop, and I think people forget that he will still develop. But Trent Alexander-Arnold is someone who has been called out, and Virgil van Dijk as well, who rightfully gets a lot of plaudits. But what did you make of those guys this morning? And in a nutshell, what the heck's gone wrong this season? It's not been the start you anticipated, surely.
No. I think I've spent a lot of time defending both Trent and Virgil van Dijk, just because they are those players that we've I suppose they kind of set the bar, right, for their positions and kind of what you expect of a player of that level, and for playing at Liverpool of all teams. You know, there's a certain bar and an expectation around performance, and I think today was specifically a disappointing one that I will remember. I felt like there were some comments in there. I hate to admit, I was almost like laughing at how true it was. Like TAA should be labelled as MIA. I actually felt that. Virgil felt like a little bit of a fraud today. I'm like, where is the guy? Like, I really, we needed him to step up. We needed more from him. It was just generally disappointing. And I would say, as much as I want to stand here, then, you know, and talk positively about them, you know what I mean? It's just unfortunately not the case. Like, I think today was a really disappointing performance, and I haven't seen any positive feedback from any Liverpool fans, because I think it was lackluster and we were all left just wanting more. And it doesn't make me feel confident about the season. Granted, we have a lot of injuries. We're dealing with a lot of stuff in other positions at the moment. But you'd think with the injuries that we've got, we need players like Virgil and Trent to really step up and guide the game and defend and save us from 2-1 with United.
Unlucky.
Not how this was meant to be tonight, Kat. Before we jump to RJ, I just want to ask, because someone's mentioning here, George. I can't believe Fabinho didn't start. Arguably the best defensive mid in the league. Did that decision shock you that he didn't start? It shocked me.
Well, yeah, I mean, because I also agree he's a fantastic player and we need him, and I love when he starts, and I think we actually see a difference in the play, the creativity when he plays, and I think he works well with Virgil van Dijk. Like, I like when they're together, but yeah, I don't know. I think all in all, I mean, I was a little surprised. I feel like Bobby's kind of past his time as well. So I think we're still kind of falling on needing players like that, when in reality, I think it's time to really shift. But Klopp, you know, he'll make the call at the end of the day, and whether or not we disagree, it's totally irrelevant by the time that Whistle calls a game. You know what I mean?
RJ, obviously, I'm sure you're not going to throw shade at anyone in here tonight, because you're kind of not in a position to do so with any comfort or security. But what did you make of that result, Roscoe? When you look at it, one guy whose name I'm not seeing come up a lot on social media, I'm seeing a lot of Trent Alexander-Arnold, I'm seeing a lot of Virgil van Dijk. I'm not seeing Jurgen Klopp's name coming up too much. What do you make of that, RJ?
Well, I think that depends on where you look, because there's been some very overzealous commentary from some sections online asking for Klopp's head, to be frank, you know, and to me it's a slight overreaction. It's 3 games into the season, so I don't think Klopp's been immune from a lot of criticism, to be fair, but could he get more criticism for someone else? Maybe, but he's also got a lot of credibility, so you've got to take that with a little bit of a pinch of salt. Obviously, it's a massive shock in one sense, but if I'm being balanced as I claim to try to be, Liverpool have been pretty poor all season, if we're calling it how it is. They were completely outplayed against Fulham, should have lost. Lucky against Crystal Palace, did well to recover a point despite being a person down. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like they had a really good opening and that was a shock result against a team that's also in equally poor form. I think it's a real surprise to see both of them in the state that they're in. So, you know, United basically have gotten their season on track, whereas Liverpool are falling far behind. But I would still say that they're in a better position to recover their situation. United, is this a flash in the pan? Is it an outlier? I do think when I assess the games, I watched the extended highlights afterwards, like the half game, and David De Gea copped a lot of criticism recently, but he made some pretty important saves that swung the balance in their favour. So I think he deserves a lot of plaudits, and yeah, credit to him and the work of his teammates. Did a great job.
Just on David too, a big plus, I think, tactical as well today. Everyone would have noticed we didn't play out from the back once today. We could see how uncomfortable he was. Everything went long today, over the top. Just played the press, which Liverpool were known for. Press. The ball went straight over the top. bypassed the press, and that's where that was our biggest.
And De Gea's not as confident or as competent as Mendy on the ball, obviously. So
100% is not. Yeah, exactly. We'll get to that.
If you look at the possession stats from today, it was insane. It was like 70 to 30%. Liverpool had majority possession.
We made
we just
like
played long.
177
it
passes.
worked.
But we really didn't. We didn't set up. It's not like we played a 5 at the back and we just set up for a counter attack like that.
Not every team's made to play it out from the back intricately in that Pep Guardiola style that we're seeing. Like a piece of commentary I heard was that David De Gea, we all know he's a good shot stopper, but he's not good with his distribution. And I felt like this morning, Ten Hag said to him, don't worry about playing it out. Just get rid of it. Keep it safe. Focus on saving goals. You are not there to be a creative outlet for this team. And I felt he was better because of that. I don't know if that was just how the circumstances played out, but he looked a lot more relieved. Dani, I want to come to you because you guys have signed a really good player who is up in the stands, Casemiro. What do you make of this guy? How soon do you think we'll be seeing him start?
Well, I was just about to say, as soon as we get Casemiro in there to plug that hole in that 6th defensive central midfielder position, he will just pull the strings from there. So, whether De Gea wants to play it out from the back or doesn't, we've got him there, which is awesome. And the accolades and his experience, everything that he achieved at Real Madrid and the experience that he's going to bring to the team is just going to be unrivaled. And I'm so excited to see it. So, I'm hoping he's in training this week and we see him next weekend.
Yeah,
Robbie,
it's a fantastic signing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you make of him, Kat? Is that someone you think maybe you guys can use?
I don't know if that we have the same weakness as United right now. Like, I don't know if we need necessarily a player in that position. Don't get me wrong. We need to make some changes, I think. But I think they're onto something with Casemiro and the existing kind of United squad and how he fits into that puzzle. I think it's a great loss for Real Madrid. And I agree. He's got pretty legendary status considering how young he is. I thought he was way older. I think he's only
he's 30, yeah.
30.
I don't know why. I always thought he was older because he just feels like he's been around a really long time. But no, I think it's a great signing for them. So it will be really interesting to see what he actually does.
I think what we need to see him do though, we need Ten Hag to let him play like how he played at Real Madrid. He needs to play solely on his own there in front of our back four. And I think he'll just do magic there. Yeah.
Yep, good shout, Robbie. Before we move on, because we've got other teams to talk about, of course. Obviously, look, I kind of want to talk about mine as well. I'm sure RJ wants to cover Chelsea. It's lonely at the top. It's lonely at the top of the league, I'll put it that way. But we had much publicised protests, Robbie. I've been seeing social media, a lot of the guys active in here. It's all been about the Glazers. It's all that energy. They're overpaying for players that shouldn't be overpaid. We're hyping up players that shouldn't be overhyped. They're not putting the right people in the right positions. They get a lot of stick when you lose. Is this a good win for the Glazers this morning? Do they get a little bit of credit? Sign the player, bought in the gaffer.
No credit at all, mate. No credit. I know you're just fishing. You're fishing for some bait, and you're not getting it today because you were talking to me before pre-stream. Oh, where's all the noise? I told you there was plenty of noise. It's a bit quiet.
Today. That's all.
There's no quiet. You obviously don't follow enough United people or just social media in general. I told you Casemiro came out, and all you can hear is Glazers out chants. There was probably one of the biggest organizations today for the protest. The Marsch thing. It was a peaceful protest, which was the bonus. They all went into the hashtag empty Old Trafford was never going to happen, mate. Majority of the stadium they are all tourists, and if you went over there, would you not go? It's never going to happen.
No, I wouldn't go and watch United. To be fair, I'd rather watch Crystal Palace.
Even if it was Emirates, whatever it was never going to be. It's in demand. It's always going to happen. I think they got their points across. I think it was good that it was a peaceful protest. Look, it's a slow thing, mate. But the ball is it is snowballing, and they are getting a little bit of traction slowly. They have to keep at it. That's the thing, and I think they will keep at it.
So no credit, nothing. Even though they bought in Ten Hag.
No credit at all. This is, I told you, it's been happening for like 2 decades nearly, mate. So it's not going to happen. But this is exactly what they wanted. They think Casemiro was going to come in 3 days and shut everyone up. That's why it was good when he came out that they were actually chanting when he came out, Glazers out, Glazers out. And I think he'll continue like that. And I expect him to go and spend maybe an extra 100 to 150 million in the next 9 days. And I still think it's not going to make everyone happy.
Fair shout. All right, I was going to ask, RJ's back. I was going to ask him this. I don't know if he's there. RJ, Robbie just said that it's starting to snowball, that the snowball's just started and it's going to keep rolling. It's going to get bigger and bigger. Can you just quickly give me your prediction? Do you think this is going to get bigger, or do you agree with my prediction that this is going to fizzle? They'll win a couple more games and we've forgotten about it again.
I think it's a function of how they go over the next few weeks, man. I know this has been building up for years with the United fan base, but you know what the old saying goes, the more things change, the more they stay the same. I'm just not sure if they'll ever get to a conclusion with this kind of stuff. But if Ten Hag gets these guys, you know, results speak louder than words rather than actions
100%.
themselves. So I don't know, man. I think it's quite transactional. If they keep performing like they did today, people start focusing more about what's on the field, and they might slowly start easing up a bit. But I'm not in the know in the United perspective. So interesting, but I don't think it'll happen as what we're predicting. But we'll see.
Danny, I am shit stirring a little bit. Do you want to smash me and tell me
Couldn't
I'm
tell.
wrong? Do you want
Nah,
to tell me
it's-
I'm wrong and it's gonna
The damage. The damage has been done, unfortunately, with the Glazers in our club. And, you know, we went from, you know, a great club and organisation to £600 million in debt overnight, you know, when that transition happened with the owners. And I just think, you know, there's people in very powerful positions making business decisions and not football positions. And I think that's really pivotal to how we move forward. So I 100% think
People are
Glazers-
acting like the Glazers use their money to get Casemiro. That's club-generated money. They still haven't reached in their own pockets. So, yeah.
and
like,
there've been
again,
dividends
that's
every
why-
year into their pockets.
Exactly. That's what people don't think. Because we spend money, we spend our own money. It's not the Glazers' money, like I said, like Roman took money out of his back pocket, like Man City owners take out of their back pocket. This is club-generated money. We don't need...
Not many Romans out there, though. There's not many
There's not,
owners who
so-
are going to go into their own pockets, though, when they own such valuable assets. But, look, let's focus on the positive. Good times for United. Not so good for Liverpool. RJ, I can't be too smug in one section. So let's break it up with some Chelsea talk. You told me last year that Mendy's one of the top keepers in the league. Aaron
Well,
Ramsdale
you just
for
went
me.
straight
Yeah,
in, didn't
you just went for the jugular there. You didn't even.
As these boys agreed with at the time, but forget that anyway.
No, not
RJ
anymore,
said it,
mate.
just
I've changed.
RJ,
I think he's
all
one of the
good.
worst now. I've flipped. Have you flipped?
You'll have to find those clips, RJ, from last year.
Yeah, where they agree.
I'm not
Clip it.
Borchi. I'm not the clip king. Unfortunately, I'll just, you know, the self-proclaimed or the other proclaimed fence sitter. I'm not a fence sitter. I still back Mendy. He's one of our. He helped us win a Champions League. He's done a lot of good things. Everybody's criticised him for his ball distribution. This is not the first mistake. He's made this number of times now, and there's this question marks about decision making because it's not always about the headline mistake. This was a headline mistake. Obviously, this led to a direct goal. It was a poor decision. It cost us dearly, changed momentum completely in that game because we were on top for the opening stanza. He's done it against Real Madrid when we should have progressed. He's done it against West Ham. There's a number of times he's turned over the ball, and it's just fortunate that the other team hasn't scored. So distribution is a definite red flag for him, and that's obviously an important thing in the modern-day goalkeeping repertoire. So, look, he severely lacks, but he also does a lot of good things. It's just a question now from Tuchel. Does he look to maybe put him to the side, let him rest and recover and give Kepa a chance because he's obviously had his problems as well? But I don't know. Like, to me, it was an awful performance all round. We started well. Could have scored in the first 50 seconds had Raheem Sterling curled his effort in, not wide. And again, Ruben Loftus-Cheek should have hit it first time, cuts inside, loses the ball. And like, I'm sure you guys can, I'd laugh too. We were absolutely horrendous. But 3-0.
I'm so sorry.
3-4
we
goals.
can't, we
Go
can't
for it.
overlook the Football Capital's latest comment. We had to.
What
I
was
had
it?
to
I
mute
missed it. Bring it up.
That one.
Oh, yes. It is. 21 is coming.
We
according
both
to these
saw it at
boys.
the same time, and we just triggered each
So
other.
good.
Stop! You can't comment.
Ah,
That's
so
not
good.
Football Capital because you make us laugh, and then we can't concentrate.
Well,
Nah,
look,
so good. Look,
mate, this is a very professional institution, all right? We're talking about serious business, the death of Chelsea Football Club.
That's true. Sorry, back to it.
Sorry, RJ.
Well, we're the opposite of serious. Chelsea's in. Just going to say, we were hopeless. It's one game. We can't overreact based on one performance. But the problem is, highlighted a number of issues at the club. So we really need to look to bounce back and use this transfer window effectively. Otherwise, we're going to be in trouble. So they're my thoughts on the game. Congratulations to Leeds.
And Captain America, mate, Jesse Marsch, I think that was, for all a lot of people tipped them to be going down this year. And I think they've started a real positive season. They haven't lost, I think, a win and a draw and 2 wins or something. So he's definitely got that team defensively a lot more sound compared to under Bielsa. And I think I can't remember his name, the American guy that scored, was it the first goal, RJ? I don't remember his name, but yeah, there's a few players that he's picked out of there that were no names, and I think they're doing all right, and I think they're going in the right direction. I think they should stay up this year.
Yeah,
RJ,
it wasn't a 3-0 game, I was saying.
I was just going to say, are you happy with all the signings that Chelsea's made in your transfer window, RJ?
I am happy. They've largely been quite good. I know Sterling could be more clinical, but he has been strong. I don't know why you look funny there, Scott, because Koulibaly was good apart from this game and he got himself sent off.
Not for my FPL team, he wasn't.
Yeah, Koulibaly is
and
don't
you
sleep
also
on
got
him,
Cucurella. And Cucurella as well. He's been brilliant. He's been a great player. The whole team collectively was off the boil. But again, had we scored in that first 50 seconds, Leeds' third goal came from their first effort on target that whole second half. So it didn't reflect the ebb and flow of the outcome. People bring up, Leeds ran 11 Ks extra. But think about the logic behind that. If your team has 30% of the ball, that means they're spending more time pressing you out of possession. So naturally, you're going to be running more kilometers. So that whole argument of they ran extra, it's the most illogical way of thinking, but they wanted it more. Anyway, that's a nice argument. Overall, they're just more clinical and they defended better on the goal line. And we just need to be a lot. I think for us, it's not so much tactical. I think it's more about where we use certain players. Reece James is not a right centre back. He's better in right wing back. Mason 100%. Mount, he's more of a number 8. They're playing him in a left wing or a right wing. Too many of these situations where we're using players out of their preferred positions. Conor Gallagher killed it at Crystal Palace, being in an attacking midfielder position. We're playing him in a double pivot. Why are we playing these players in positions they don't belong in? They're stopgap solutions. Kante, Kovacic, massive losses. And obviously Thiago Silva, 37, he's not going to be 100% every game. So look, I don't want to boil the ocean after one performance, because the week before against Tottenham, we were playing champagne football for 95 and a half minutes. So, yeah, I don't want to overinflate this one. It was a bad day in the office, and hopefully we move forward next game.
That's right. We all have them, RJ. Don't worry.
we haven't had one yet, but
disagree with this one for me, Matt, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I told you, Arsenal's like the elephant on top of the tree, mate. It's just
I was just going to...
RJ said before that they've won August.
So accurate.
August is not even finished yet. They might not even get the August champions yet. So let's just calm down on how awesome.
And Scott, respectfully, no one gets more excited after a couple of consecutive wins than Arsenal.
That's true. Arsenal fans.
It's full on title.
I've gone into.
Sorry, I'm feeling really raw today.
I've gone into the trenches for you today, Kat.
Locked in.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, that is true.
And you don't want to let me enjoy these? Come on. Seriously.
No,
I mean, I will say,
I actually do think Arsenal are absolutely one to watch. I talk you guys up quite a lot. I've always been a fan of Arteta. From the moment Arteta came in, I know it wasn't necessarily the easiest fix, or like we didn't see it fixed straight away, but I do think we're really seeing that he had a plan the whole time. And I think Arsenal are in amazing form at the moment. So if they can maintain it, I mean, absolutely, like they are one to reckon with.
Also, rate the All or Nothing documentary. That has been a cracker. I'm really enjoying it.
You know what? I'll be controversial. I'm honestly, I'm watching it.
Not into it.
You know what? I think it's like knowing you know the ending of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Before you watch it. And I think I work in education, yeah. So a lot of what I have to do is about getting messages across to people and, communicating clearly. And there's a lot of things that I see fans hyping up, like him drawing some pictures on a whiteboard saying it's revolutionary. It's not revolutionary. It's just I think he's doing a good job. I haven't always felt that way, but he's in a groove now. He's been well backed. There are no excuses, and we're seeing them look good. It's been nice to see the inner workings of the club.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of things. It's heavily edited. Like, we didn't see both sides of the Aubameyang debacle.
That's very true.
Very
yeah.
true.
So, but look, any opportunity for us fans abroad, particularly, to see more of our club,
that's
is
right.
exciting.
Yeah, it's special.
So I'm enjoying it. I want to ask you about Aubameyang a little bit later in the show, RJ. Don't let me forget. But it's been good, and we're cooking at the moment. I'm seeing really good link-up play. Saliba with a cracker of a goal. He's ready.
He's got 100% pass completion already. So
Premier
far in the 3 games. So he's looking absolutely solid for you guys at the back.
Yeah, absolutely. And Erdegaard for me was someone who
another one.
Yeah, he stood up. He can bang in goals. It's just had not always been the case where he's taken the chances. So for me, a comprehensive win. I love the fact that our lineup's not changing. A big criticism of mine with Arsenal has been it's always chopping and changing. We didn't know our best
the inconsistency.
defensive. And now we're reaping the rewards of consistency. So I'm happy with what we're doing.
But that's what I guess what you want to see, right? The changing of the squad is trial and error until you find a formation and a group of players that really works to your strengths. And if Arteta's found that, like, he'd be silly to be playing anyone else.
Yeah.
And I think that's the frustrating part when you see it in another squad, or when you're surprised by a substitution or whatever it is. It's frustrating because you've seen how good a team can be in a particular kind of makeup.
Fair call, fair shout. And look, a lot of this criticism coming in. The United fans love this one. Again, I'll say what I said last week. We're doing pretty well with 1 game a week at the moment. You not so much. When you've got 2 games, maybe you need to be a little bit more concerned, because your depth is not crash hot either. So, let's
Baby
just
steps.
Yeah.
We had Marcel and Ronaldo come off the bench today. What's wrong about that, mate?
Yeah, well, you know what? Let's quickly just talk about a couple of players that might move. And then, of course, I want to cover Newcastle Man City particularly, because that was a pearl of a game. Ronaldo, I can't see him being happy being on the bench against Liverpool. He'd have been right up for it. But you also looked okay without him this morning. Might start with you, Kat. Do you see Cristiano Ronaldo being a Manchester United player at the end of the window?
Well, look, it's all speculation, isn't it? I mean, we've heard stuff about him not wanting to be there, requesting to leave, whether he actually goes or not, where he could go. All this talk around kind of no one being able to take him. My honest opinion is that he's at that point in his career where he should be making a choice that's based totally on personal wanting to live somewhere where he wants his family to be. I think you're not trying to prove anything anymore. Like, everyone knows who you are. You've really made a name for yourself. I think if he's not happy, he shouldn't spend his final years of his career somewhere where he's benched and he's not playing. I think he should be playing somewhere where he's running around, having a good time, making an impact, even if that's back in Portugal and he's not on the same kind of money or whatever that might be. In my opinion, that's kind of what would probably suit him better now. I think it'd be kind of romantic to see him back in Portugal for his last couple of seasons. I don't even know if that's on the cards for him.
I don't know. I don't think he's done yet. I think our man still wants Champions League football.
Yeah, we know he wants it, but we're seeing all these issues around what team could actually
I read
take
a
him.
stat the other day, and it was like, he said out of like 100 of the media articles that have been released, only 2 were true or something. So like,
wow, yeah.
you just can never know.
Yeah, he's got the fire. Robbie, what about you? Do you think he'll be there at the end of the season?
Honestly, I'm still torn, 50-50.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
I can't even read the situation. Like,
Yeah.
I'm the one. I caught it last week on the pod. I said I don't think he's going to start. I would have started Martial today, even though Elena got the start over him. He started from the bench, but I just think Eric was like, from that preseason, that front four, he was really happy. The pace, the link up, the chemistry, the pressing, and like that's not really Ronaldo's game. Not to say he's a goal scorer, so he'll score in any system, but I just don't know. Like I said, I don't think he definitely won't be happy starting from the bench, but. Again, the only one I'm scared of is if Chelsea was to come in for him. Everyone else, I just don't think. Like, there's been all these bullshit rumors about Marseille. Why would he go to Marseille? Dortmund. Why would he go to Dortmund? He wants to go somewhere that he's gonna play. What? He's not gonna. They're gonna. If they go into Dortmund, they're not gonna win the league. He's gonna play Champions League. Well, he's not gonna do anything there either. But Marseille, where will these links come from all these random teams? How can they afford him? Number one.
Yeah.
So yeah, like if he's that desperate, even Portugal, I don't even think, like I said, I still agree with Kat. I still, with Dani, I still think that he's fit enough to play. Like Ibrahimovic is 41 years old now. And like, okay, Serie A is not the Premier League, but he's still playing.
Yeah, we don't want him to stop.
Yeah, I still think he's got definitely a 1 or 2 years he can perform still and score goals for a team. And I told you the only one that makes sense to me that I'm still worried about on the late deadline day possibly is Chelsea, because they haven't got that number 9 yet. I know Aubameyang is strongly linked, which I do think will happen. But if that was to fall through, I just think it's both for both parties. He gets Champions League football. They get a number 9 who's going to score goals, which they haven't got at the moment. And, it's kind of, even though it would break all our hearts, I just think that, it's an ends to a mean for both of them. But if not, if the window ends and he's still a United player, I actually think he just goes, okay, I'm here now. At least to January anyway. Little my all, whatever I got to do to help the team, we do it. That's it.
I mean, when he first signed for you guys and we all got excited about it, because even I was excited about Ronaldo returning to the Premier League, we never envisioned that he would be benched. Like, I saw him as that player that would just be out front every game, banging goals. Like, he was the guy. And obviously, we're all coming from the history and knowing so much about him, but it's definitely not what any of us would have expected.
For sure, yeah.
Which he did do last year, 26 goals. I
know.
In the worst United team.
Changed.
Yeah, 100%. And I agree.
He stood out. He stood out in a poor team. Yeah.
He did. He did.
Right.
So it's interesting to see. 9 days to go. I don't know which way it's going to go. Every day I'm changing my mind. I can't read it.
Yeah, it is. It does feel like that.
Yeah.
I think
maybe you should come to the A-League.
Well, as
that's
a proud
marquee
Bulls
player
fan, we could take him there. He's spearheading.
I think that's that might be just what the A-League needs.
Come play at Campbelltown next to us, boys.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
I think you know what the problem is? The conundrum is the Ronaldo mentality wants to continue pushing. He's reaching his physical limitations, and like you said, Rob, he can go do a job for a number of teams, but could he accept having a lesser important influential role? So he could come to Chelsea, yeah, sure, but could he play? Could he start 50 games? Because we want to win it all across every competition. He couldn't, in my opinion. So what do I know, of course? But that's the issue. So he wants to keep playing. He wants to be the main man, and respectfully so. That's his whole mantra. That's why he succeeded at the very top for so long. But because the big teams now, I mean the top clubs, they need to have players that are physical specimens. And if he can't deliver that week in, week out, 3 times a week across multiple competitions, he's got to naturally accept within himself that he's going to have lesser and less minutes. It doesn't mean he's lesser important. So it's even players like Thiago Silva, using a Chelsea reflection, because it is similar. He's 37, turning 38 very soon. He's the main defender when he's playing, but you don't see him playing 3 times a week just because he physically cannot do that. So if Ronaldo could say, look, let me be the main man when I'm picked, okay, but I'll accept that I'll only play 1 of your 3 games a week. But I just don't think he wants to accept that. And because of that situation, he'll leave. I think he'll leave because he just is too proud. And that's not a bad thing. But
where do you think he'll go, but the leaving thing is the easy part. To where he's going to go is the hard part.
Well, not Chelsea, because I'm not saying we don't need a finish off. He's quality. He's phenomenal quality. And I know I've given my thoughts, and I don't think he belongs at us, just because similar to what I've said with Barcelona, City, all these other top clubs around Europe, he couldn't be relied on to start regularly, and he wouldn't accept playing second fiddle 2-3 times a week. So why would he come to us if it's going to be the same situation that he is at your club? I know for Champions League football, that's attractive. But, yeah, I don't think we'd take him, to be frank.
RJ, what about Aubameyang? Would you take him?
Absolutely, I'd take him. Why would I take him? A, he's slightly younger, but more importantly, he has that relationship with Tuchel. And I do believe it is important in this day and age to have had that working relationship with your manager because, like the Lukaku disaster class, he was a top striker, in my opinion. He played for Inter Milan, smashed goals in there, and he's doing well again upon his return. Hasn't had that working relationship with Tuchel. And sometimes a square peg doesn't fit in a round hole, or it doesn't all the time. So that's why Aubameyang, I think, would have a strong chance of working if he did come to Chelsea.
I so badly don't want this to happen.
Another classic example of an Arsenal reject that comes to Chelsea and wins trophies. How good would that be? All or nothing.
Chelsea, they do bloody well. When your players come to us, they just instantly lose any. It's like Space Jam when they take their. I'm talking a good Space Jam when they take their ability from them.
Exactly.
I swear to God, that's what it's like when Chelsea players come to Arsenal. But look, I'm hoping it doesn't happen. But there's one more game really quickly. I'm not going to speak too much about this one. I'll leave this to you guys. But Man City and Newcastle, the two richest clubs in the league, played a cracking match. Like there's a lot to be said for Newcastle, I think, because they haven't gone out and spent the kind of money that I think a lot of people expected they would and chased the names that a lot of people thought they would. But what we're seeing is that under Eddie Howe, they're building an identity and they're very hard to beat. Kat, what did you make of that game? How much credit do you think Newcastle deserve?
So much credit. I mean, look, it was a classic City moment where they're able to come back, which as a neutral fan, we like to see a duel like that. We were actually talking on Born Offside last week. What's the best score for a neutral fan? And we said 3-3.
Yeah.
And then we got a perfect example of it this week. So all credit to Newcastle. I believe it was 2-1 and then 3-1, and then City were able to come back. All 6 goals scored in 70 minutes.
Yeah, crazy.
That's a lot of action.
Yeah.
I've never discredited Newcastle's ability to potentially come back, only because I do think there are some golden nuggets in that team. And Eddie Howe clearly knows what he's doing with that. So then they've got the funding now. So I feel like we always come back to money with this. But, yeah, unbelievable from them, really. If this is the way their season's going to go, it's awesome.
Robbie, you caught this?
Yeah, look, quickly, I think we've talked about it a few weeks ago when it was Fulham and Liverpool. I respect how these smaller teams go toe-to-toe with the big boys. If they don't just sit back and try and defend it and actually have a go at them, sometimes it's just the unexpected kind of thing. And they had a go at them. They were at home. They had the crowd behind them. They said, we're going to give you a go because why not throw the kitchen sink? And they did. And like you said, 3-1 up against City. Everyone was like, eyes are open. But again, as Kat said, a typical City turnaround like we said on the last day of last year. Thank God. But but yeah, a cracking game. And like I said, for me, one of the goals of the week, Kieran Trippier's free kick for me was one of the goals of the week.
Huge.
That was so beautiful.
Yeah. Absolute banger. I know we usually like to kind of end the recap by going around and asking everybody for a favourite moment and a favourite goal from the match week. So we might do that now. We might start with you, RJ. Favourite moment, favourite goal.
Yeah, it's a good question. I actually thought it was a quite random one. It was, I think, from the Crystal Palace Villa game, the third goal, that cross that came in. And I just thought, I'm a sucker for a good RJ cross. Reece James, that is the real RJ. But that was quite a cross, quite a finish. And just again reflects just how underrated Crystal Palace are, and I've been quite critical of how they would go without people like Connor, and yeah, great things, and unfortunately Aston Villa have a lot to be desired.
Okay. Dani, we'll jump over to you.
Oh, I'm going to go completely biased Man U supporter. I'm just going to give it to Sancho because, composed in front of goal, patient, cut it back, had the shot, cool as you like. Mine goes to Sancho. That's obviously my favourite moment. How can I not? Manchester United first win after what's been just such a shit time. So that's my pick.
Okay. All right. Robbie, and then we'll go back to Kat.
Yeah, look, moment obviously was this morning, just getting our first win in against Liverpool. Favorite goal of the week goes to go Shea Adams for me. I don't know if anyone's seen it.
Yes.
Bicycle kick, scissor kick. Thought it was a great finish. Always like an acrobatic goal, so he gets my one. Just edges Kieran Trippier's free kick.
Kat.
Favorite moment. Look, I actually and we haven't touched on it in this live stream, so I'm just going to shout it out. I liked the Wolves' performance against Spurs. I thought they played really, really well. Really enjoyed that game. Yep. And once again, as a neutral fan, I thought it was good football. There weren't a lot of goals scored, only one, but I thought they did a really good job. And favorite goal, probably the fact that Salah finally got one this morning, because it was tough hanging on for a while there. We wanted to see at least one goal on the score sheet for Liverpool. So I'd say that was the top.
He even helped my FPL team. I was happy. We got the win and he was my captain in the FPL. So we got something out of it.
I have been cursed because I had Darwin Nunez last week, red card. I had Koulibaly this week, who I transferred in this week, red card. I've got the red card curse.
God, can you let us know?
Someone's giving you the malok.
Yeah, you're going to have to let us know who you transfer in so we know who not to get.
Yeah.
I had Rashford on the bench. The first time I actually got points this season, I put him on the bench. I was burning.
You know what? I don't even know who I'm transferring in this week because everyone I transfer, again, Space Jam curse. So I'm just going to leave my team as is. I think I'm going to roll with it and see how I go. But look, my favourite goal, let's maintain the bias. Why not? Everyone knows who we support. The Saliba goal.
That was a great goal, but right up.
I love it. I love a centre-back scoring a banger. Like it's just always special.
What about the Zinchenko celebration?
Yeah. Mate, he's fitting the team culture so well.
I love Zinchenko. Like, what a player.
Yeah.
Good signing, versatile, knows the gaffer, and we got him for a reasonable fee, so can't complain. Favourite moment? Oh, look, I won't say Arsenal, but I think that Newcastle City game, for me, to be honest, was probably my favourite because I was just so thoroughly entertained, and that's why I love Premier League football. That game had it all.
Yeah.
We are going to move on and wrap this up with a couple of quickfire questions. I've got a few just to chuck at you guys. We'll call this greatest of all time. So I'm going to say a category, and I want you to tell me what the greatest of all time in that category is. Greatest goalkeeper. Some thinking happening.
Bias for me. I'm definitely going bias. Buffon for me. Longevity. Just a champion guy, World Cup winner, multiple Serie A winner. Yeah.
Go on, Kat.
I wouldn't say. Look, I feel like I love Casillas, and not necessarily because of his results being any better than any of the other greatest players, but just love him. Always have.
Okay. RJ.
Yeah, it's hard to not be super biased with Buffon, and we've had some great keepers over the years. Petr Cech, obviously, 15 goals in the Premier League, undefeated at the moment, smashed in the clean sheets record as well. It's a tough one, man, but yeah, Robbie's got a good case. I'm going to throw a Buffon for me just because of the World Cup factor and the longevity issue as well in a tough strategic league like the Serie A. So yeah, Buffon gets my vote too.
Oh, look. For me, it's obviously Aaron Ramsdale. I'm only kidding.
Interesting
in fantasy,
choice.
It absolutely is. True.
I'm going to go Oliver Kahn for me. I always love watching Kahn in goals. Next one, restaurant.
Hang on, are we talking worldwide here or?
No, look, let's go something accessible, something local, because I know
something people can get to, something they could book.
People may not know this, but you two are much younger than us. You're probably a lot more.
Speak for yourself, Scott.
It's actually all the Botox. We're like 45.
We're pumped with it.
Look, Mum, you're a lot more hip, so maybe you can give us a bit of a shout of somewhere good to go, because clearly I like my food. I know the boys do too. We might start with you though, Kat.
We're foodies. Look, I love seafood and I love steak. When I go out, minus a good Italian restaurant, you can't go wrong. I love a nice steak restaurant or a good seafood. I would say you can't go wrong at Six Head. It's in the Rocks.
Yeah, that's actually a good shout.
And it's pretty pricey. I think you'd get like the $4 signs on the website. But Six Head, yeah, it's a good steak restaurant. The sides are really nice. They like show you the cut of meat before they cook it. It's a good experience.
There you
Okay,
go.
all right. Well, it's fancy, Danny.
I love Amare, which is an Italian restaurant in the New Crown, actually, which is New Crown Casino. which
Haven't
is
been
really
there
nice.
yet. I heard it's so good. I want to go there.
They make the pesto fresh in front of you, do it all.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Perfecto.
All right. What about you, RJ?
Why would you want to go to a restaurant when you can make fresh Italian dinner at home, guys? Honestly,
True.
your own
If you've got
ingredients.
a wood-fired pizza oven, game changer.
Yeah, 8-hour ragouts like some of us do are committed to the cause. We'll do it. Who wants to go to restaurants and spend money on stuff that's 3 weeks old?
You're
as the
making
old
us
ones
sound
would like to
old.
say?
Stop it.
Okay, all right. I'll pick one
What do you
just
Ashby?
for
Can I just say
safekeeping.
he's all over it?
Elshana.
Elshana.
Cracker.
Same guy
Hey,
said
let's
to
not-
see us.
and
You're my kind of person.
Lamona's good too. Let's not discount them. They do a great job. But I would say, and it's no longer around, which sucks. And Scott's been there. I'm not sure he came as well. Ricardo's at it was an Italian restaurant, a small little home operation. It was on Parramatta Road, but it was Granville Way, but it's gone. I'll sneakily throw in there Italian food project, keeping it local. I love that
they're
restaurant.
Nice. Yeah,
Very
nice.
good.
That's
Robbie?
funny.
Look, mate, the only answer is Nonnas, but
Oh,
Um,
yes.
100%. But look, you know me, I love my seafood. So one of the best towers I've had probably Lugano Seafood. Shout out for them. Really
Pretty
good.
good. It's pretty good.
All right. Look,
Nice.
I'll wrap up the greatest restaurant of all time. I'm a classy fella. I've got an expensive, exquisite taste. I'm going to say nothing beats a good old Lone Star, ladies and gents.
Yeah, do
Does
they
Lone
still
Star have the
exist?
curly fries, or is that which one has
Yeah.
the curly fries?
Hog's
Oh.
breath. That's hog's breath, Danny.
Hog's
Hog's
breath.
Yeah, no, look, you know what? I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. Not that bad. But back in the day,
You're a
I haven't
Hurricanes
been-
man, Scott. You used to be a ribs man, Hurricanes.
Yeah,
How
but
good
I
is it?
haven't been there for
I
years.
just
But I'm
said
going to go.
ribs.
I'm going to shout out. What was it called? There was the one in Concord, Thai restaurant in Concord.
Like
That's
on
your
Main Bay
area.
Road. Yeah, that's my area.
Yeah,
Talk to
yeah.
me.
What's it called, Kat?
Do you mean
Tire Concord.
no? Oh, I'm so sorry. I feel like I know which one it is. Is it across from the pharmacy?
That's the one.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
know
one.
it. It'll come to
I
me,
took-
guys. I'll post it on my story or something. When I
Wait,
remember.
just can you drop it in the comments because it's my
I'll drop
answer,
it.
but I've forgotten it. So
Yeah.
People are desperate to
Yeah.
know what
Oh.
this
You can come
Thai
back.
place is called.
that's it. Oh well, look, they're my quick fires for now. RJ, do you have any quick fires before we let these lovely ladies go?
Yeah, I just yesterday caught the first episode of the new House of the Dragon series for any Game of Thrones fans or
How
whatever.
was
If you
it?
don't like
Haven't
it,
watched it yet.
yeah, if you like that sort of thing, it was pretty awesome. I've got to say, I enjoyed it because I love the background. My question for you in the live chat is, what's a show that you're currently rating and why? So my one's obviously House of the Dragon, but what are you guys rating at the moment?
I'll go first on this one because I'm right into nearly finished Peaky Blinders. I'm a bit behind, but really
Oh,
enjoying
Peaky
Peaky
it.
Blinders,
Catch
love.
up.
So good.
So good. One more season to go. That, and I'm actually looking forward to, I think next week Cobra Kai returns. So they'll come out for that.
Okay. All right. Look,
Scott?
I'm not watching anything at the moment, to be honest. I haven't had time, so I'm going to sit this one out. Kat, you got something for us?
I'm pretty bad too. I actually
So
haven't
good.
started oh yeah. I watched this one movie like 3 weeks ago and I keep bringing it up in conversation, but when I saw it, I said it was the shittest thing ever. Yet somehow it's become this thing that I keep dropping into everything because I actually learned a lot from it. It was called Sliding Doors. You may have heard of it. But in terms
That's an
of
old school
series,
movie.
yeah, like old
Is
school.
it?
I was
Oh,
just thinking
I
like it's
remember
got a
that. Sliding Doors.
outro. I expected it to be a little bit better than it was, but honestly, it really the concept really stuck with me, and I found it. I keep thinking every time I'm 15 seconds late to something, like it was for a reason. And anyway, you can tell I'm an overthinker, can't you?
I'll tell you what you guys need to watch. You need to watch, if you haven't already seen it, Gomorrah.
The
It's on SBS on
Italian
demand.
mafia stuff.
If you're into
Yeah.
if you're into like mafioso, get on it. It is so good.
Yeah, speaking of a good
Stranger
gangster
Things 2,
shows,
Cracker, yeah.
yeah, Animal
Umbrella
Kingdom, for
Academy
those
of
who haven't
Good
seen
Things.
that, great show. Queen's Gambit, another good one. So there's
That's
a lot
a
of good ones at the
fantastic
moment.
Plenty.
All
All right, Robbie.
I've got one. Last one. I only got one quick one. Someone who's a global superstar who you don't rate or don't like.
Ooh, trying to get us
Neymar.
cancelled.
Neymar. I've got zero time. I don't
What
rate
Doesn't
about
have
him.
to
him?
be a sports person or footballer. It could be
No,
anything.
it's Neymar for me.
A global superstar.
Global
that you
superstar.
don't rate.
I don't know about global. There's an Australian celebrity that just gets on my nerves.
Who?
Abby
Okay.
Chatfield.
Oh yeah.
Who?
Whenever she's Abby Chat, so she's a radio personality, but she's like all over social media and stuff, and she just irritates me. You know, one of those people you see her face and you're like, you haven't even spoken yet, and I'm annoyed.
Yeah, a lot of people are like that. I've heard
Yeah.
a lot of people say that.
Dylan.
The
loves
real
me.
Dylan.
Don't mind me. He's spitting real facts.
Football
Dane, who's
capital.
your person you can't stand?
I was getting concerned there, Kat. I thought you were going to say Olin Tekkers for him. You know, he said about the Australian sort of superstar, but I'm sure you can. I'm sure you
That
can
wouldn't
stand
be
his
fair, would
presence.
it?
Should get cancelled.
That would be.
Nah,
I'd get cancelled.
yeah.
He's got too strong of a following, but it looks like the football capital's trying to say. I feel like Claude's might still be in the chat. He called me an FPL fraud before, so he's not really in my good books.
He chose.
No, I love them
violence.
both. I love
God.
them both so much. Maybe I might just say that I'd like a week off.
Okay.
Sub yourself
The boy,
out.
I'm gonna sub myself out for next week so that none of that Liverpool stuff happens. And then I'll come back.
Good shout, Kat. Good shout.
I've got no response about no one I don't rate. To be honest, it will come with.
Well,
It'll come to
actually,
me after
I've
the
just
show.
seen Andrew Tate pop up in the comments. Fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very cool.
There you
That's
go.
fair.
All right. I don't even know who he
Mine-
is. That's how old I am.
Mine's Kim Kardashian. Can't stand her. Can't stand her at all.
Hey, Kimmy K.
I feel like she's nice. I don't
Just
mind
don't
her.
rate her at
Do
all.
you, bro?
Don't rate her at all.
Oh dear. All right. Well, look. You know what? We've gone down a rabbit hole. We've stopped talking about Chelsea and Liverpool, and we started talking about Kim Kardashian, and that's always a good reminder that it's time to end the stream. In the description below, you can find all of the details for Born Offside, for the girls' socials. Make sure you check that out. It's genuinely one of my favorite podcasts to listen to. So make sure you check it out. Show some love. I know the United boys have a meet this weekend, Robbie, coming.
Yep. Yeah,
It's
like I said, we'll talk
Robbie
about probably a
Murphy.
bit more Thursday night. But yeah, Thursday Saturday night, 9:30 kickoff. I think it's our only good time for the rest of the year. All the boys will be down there. Quite a lot of the United boys in the chat here. And yeah, like I said, take advantage, get down there, have a few beers, and hopefully the Reds and Casemiro gets his debut for us and gets a win over the Saints or something.
Until then, we're going to let Robbie have the final word. Kat, thank you for coming. Danny, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Always a
Thank
pleasure
you,
to have
guys.
you both on.
Scott, quickly. I think it's Chili Jam in Concord.
There you go.
It is 100% remember
It's going to
that.
be
That's the
booked
one.
out now. You guys
Yeah.
should have told everyone.
Well, look, we might have to go for a post-stream feed one night.
Let's do
We'll
it.
suss it out. But you know what, guys? Thank you for your company.
Thank you.
Boys, we'll be back on Thursday night to preview another big round of EPL. Of course, subscribe, like the video, and look after yourselves. Take care, everyone. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.